In this video, we're going to take a look at the JavaScript data series type. So in previous videos, we've demonstrated custom data series and static data series and SQL and SQL cross-sectional data series, but this time we're going to look at the JavaScript data series type, and that this series type is computed by calling a JavaScript function. So let's go over to properties and look at our data series here. So we've defined a data series called series 1, and then we can see here that this particular series is going to call a JavaScript function called jsData to compute the data that's actually in the series, and that this function is expected to create a data series with two sub-series, one called sales and one called regions. So sales and regions are just names that I specified because I'm basically in control of this jsData function, and I'm going to make this function return two sub-series. So now let's go and look at the chart definition. So again, I've chosen a very simple pie chart here, and I've said that the data for the pie chart is based on series1.sales. So I'm going to be pulling out the sales sub-series from series 1, and that the category is series1.region. So now when I go to render the chart, I see nothing, and the reason that I see nothing is that at this point we haven't made any Ajax callbacks, and so there's been no opportunity for the JavaScript to actually execute. So a chart that is based on a JavaScript data series isn't going to actually render anything when the dialog is initially rendered, and you have to make an Ajax callback to actually render the chart, because it's when the Ajax callback takes place, the JavaScript function will execute, then the Ajax callback will take place, and then the chart will be re-rendered. So in order to actually have the chart appear, I have to have a button that does a refresh chart. So if I go look at this button over here, I can see now that this button is getting a pointer to the chart control called C1, which is that chart control over there, and then calling that the chart objects refresh method. So the help for inserting these functions name is available right there. So if I just go there and type in chart, I'll be able to see that that's how I got the function name. So when I press this button, that's going to cause an Ajax callback to refresh the chart. So now let's go and look at my JavaScript function, and for demonstration purposes, initially I've just got inside this JavaScript function, I've just got an alert and then a return. So currently this JavaScript function is not actually returning any meaningful data. So now if I go to working preview and press the button, you can see there's my alert coming up telling me that I'm inside now this function called jsData, and then there's my error telling me that the JavaScript did not return a valid series. So now let's go back to the JavaScript and fix it up. So we need to return data that has two sub-series, sales and regions, and so there are two different ways in which you can do that, and you can choose whichever meets your needs most easily. So in this first case here, what I'm doing is I'm creating a new empty array called A, and then I'm pushing objects onto the array, and these objects are defined using JSON syntax. So the first item that I push onto the array is sales of 23 and region of East, and it's important to recognize that these values here, sales and region, match the values that I specified for the sub-series when I defined this data series in the first place. So we push 4 items into this array, and then we go ahead and return the array. So now let me pause now and pick this up in the next video.